Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bdrp AM subscriber show. That's you. That means we jump in the chat and see what you guys are talking about and see what's new in the Bigfoot Dogman world. I'm your host, Dee Doss, and joined again by my good friends, Layton Longwalker and Layton Shortwalker, also known as Short Round.
Short Round.
That name just sticks. That's your name now. How are you, gentlemen?
Good. We're doing great, man.
Outstanding.
Been a crazy Saturday. Really crazy around here.
Yes, it has. It's the day's just flown on by. I've been going to sleep like a senior citizen here lately around 8 o'clock, waking up around 5:30, 6 o'clock for coffee. Now here it is, 1:30 a.m. So why not do an AM show?
Hey, is that my wife said something about daylight savings time? Is that today?
Is it?
I haven't heard anybody else say that. I wonder if she's a week off or a day off or something.
I hope so, because that always, my internal clock's already thrown off a little bit. So yeah, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah, me neither.
It's too much of a change. Too fast.
Just like you
so I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying I'd like it just in one time. No, never have to change.
Exactly. Like daylight from 5 a.m. to like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
No leap years. Let's see who we got. We got the Custom Kentuckian in the house, everyone. Mr. Sam Squatch Rivera, Dick Richards, cousin Matt Niven from across the pond, Brown Dwarf, Swamp Dweller. We have a celebrity in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
The voice actor, horror narrator, magician, Mr. Swamp Dweller, my good friend. 737 Pilot Doc Sportail loves Shasta Fe. Still got it wrong, but I came close that time. Crypto PTSD.
All right.
Fantastic channel. Love the stuff you do over there. Barry Brown Construction. He's still awake. He's supposed to come on with me. And that's completely my fault. Let's see if we can get him in here. He is my my guy out in the field. He watches my back. Trust him with my life. The Joker Files. I'm keeping an eye on you guy. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to BDRP. El Loco Nightmare. Crane 05. You related to y'all? No, maybe not.
I think that's Short Round playing around.
Is it Short Round? Get out of there. You're a guest. You're not supposed
My gaming channel.
Brother Jared Indio Loco and Matt Smith. I'm glad you guys could join us in the middle of the night at a moment's notice. Gentlemen, thank you again on behalf of everyone at the BDRP, as well as our subscribers, for especially you, Short Round, for your bravery in doing that interview and your honesty and forthcoming.
Thank you.
If that's a word. You're very, very welcome. Thank you. I mean, I'm just a researcher who pretends to be a host of a show. You actually have a lot of courage for someone your age.
Thank you. Again.
Yeah.
Very welcome. I've been singing your praises for about a week, man. So
appreciate it.
Okay, let's see. What do you guys think of what do you guys think of the case going on right now that's similar to the one in Canada, where there's actually a state being sued, which if the participant wins, it will lead to a state acknowledging this creature.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's Claudia Ackley. I'm sure everyone knows. I got to talk to her this evening. She's a great gal. She's been put under a lot of pressure by who knows, one of these ABC agencies. But I have a lot of respect for her, man. She's standing tall, and she's going through with it. She's got a lot of saying. I'll put it that way.
I think there's people like us who are ideologists, man. We're after the truth, and when when you become not a believer but a knower, you have a different paradigm. You have a paradigm shift, and it's easy to stand up. It's like, I don't care who comes after me. It's almost like part of our faith. I don't care. I don't care. what the world thinks. I know, and I'm going to keep on going through with this no matter what. I mean, kudos to her, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely. You know, 10 tons of respect for her, man, because, you know, I I think I've told you about the incident where there was an off-duty, the off-duty Army personnel that was down there at my main research area in Brown Springs over, this was 2016 going into 2017. He was there Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's. And every time I just happened to go on those days, I suppose. But every time I'd go in there, there was like this new excuse. You know, he mentioned his family, which it's a pretty close, tight-knit group in Southern Oklahoma. You either know them or your basketball team or your wrestling team or the baseball team played them and you became friends that way. But very, very small community. And after seeing him on Christmas Day, you know, after eating big, you know, getting my belly fat, eating good food and opening presents and all that good stuff, him still being there started to worry me a little bit. His original excuse was he was getting his dog acclimated to gunfire. And that's at the time that I was going in by myself. So yeah, suffice it to say, I didn't trek as far or stay as long as I normally would.
That's a little, that's a little creepy, I'd say.
Kind of sketchy. Kind of sketchy for sure.
Have you seen any other people down there besides, I mean, more people like him down there or just him?
No. And it's, if you know anything about the particular area I go to, it's kind of isolated. It's out of the way. Nobody really has any business being down there, even if they're hunting. It's just not a place they go. You know what I mean? So yeah, it really, at first I was like, oh yeah, this guy, he's a lonely, nerdy guy. You know, he's on leave. He ain't got nobody to hang out with, whatever. But I kept coming back and he was there with the same dog. I actually got to see the dog grow a little bit. He had been there so long.
I mean, why not take your dog near a firing range? I'm sure you got plenty of them down around there.
Absolutely. There was all sorts of things flowing through my mind, you know, but what can you do? Like you said, once you get that fire lit, like obviously I kept going back. So
that's awesome, man. It's also shows the sign of times, man.
Well, they can't keep a hold on it anymore. I don't think that they can control the narrative as much as they could in previous times. You know what I mean? 60s, 70s, 80s, the older generation, they didn't care. You know what I mean? They weren't going out looking for these things. It was common knowledge. They were there. Oh, well, as long as you don't go in this portion of the woods, you'll be fine. And they went on about their lives.
Yeah, man, our generations have changed so much because I can remember my grandfather telling me, you know, he's out in the field shooting rabbits before going to school. And, you know, kids today, when I drop my kids off to school, they get their little cubbies. We put their stuff in. Well, Shorty's got a locker now, but I mean, my granddad, they would all have their little 22s. All the kids would bring their 22s to school inside the school, line them up against into school, and then they take them out, you know, and it just shows, man, where we were now where we are. It's so different now, man.
It's fascinating to me, like you said, where we are now, and it seems like it goes in waves, and the wave just gets a little bit higher every time they start barking. But the people that are trying to take away the constitutional right to bear arms and saying, you know, what we should and shouldn't have as far as firearms and whatnot, it is pretty awesome that there was a point in time where there were kids actually, you know, it was a cool thing. It was what's the word I'm looking for? The teachers didn't care to the point where they had like activities you could do if you brought your gun to school. You know,
yeah. When kids actually feared the teachers too. I'm sure that's because they could have discipline, you know.
No doubt. Exactly, and that's case in point. Open and shut case. Discipline. But yeah, we're going off the rails on that. Tony Hill says it's because of us bush dwelling rednecks. You're absolutely right. But I mean, they underestimate our intelligence as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Bigfoot in Germany's in the chat with you guys. As you know, he recently retired, but he's passed down a lot of knowledge to me, and I'm eternally grateful. He's a very, very good friend. Yeah. So as much as I call him my brother.
I tell you, his story, his encounter is one of the best I've ever heard. I love it. So, good evening, Mr.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's incredible, incredible.
Well, there's only two people, and I won't tell you who the other one is, but there's only been two people whose encounter, because most of the time I'm hearing it with the audience. That's just the way I've always done it. I don't want to fake anything, so I'll hear it with you guys. But his encounter was one of the few that gave me, one of two that gave me kind of, some bad dreams, honestly. The descriptive detail that he went into when he was talking about how this big female was like clenching her fist in and out, trying to hype herself up to rush him. And I at that 45, and this gentleman, he knows his way around a firearm, and he knew that it wasn't going to be enough. Like, I don't listen to a whole lot of the ones I do because I hate my voice, but I went back and listened to that one, and yeah, it'll send a chill up your spine, man.
Absolutely.
But over a decade of experience, he's a good teacher for sure.
It was incredible. I remember the part where he was talking about where something didn't look right because it was like he was looking at a VCR tape where you rewind it or fast forward.
Right. He said there was a sound that came from the brush behind it, and its attention was averted to it. But when this creature turned around and looked, it looked right back at him and turned and walked away and fast forward from a VCR. And of course, as detailed as he is in writing his descriptions of everything, I mean, like, you can close your eyes and imagine it after you read his encounter. Of course, the BFRO takes it, cuts out anything that would seem anomalous or strange, which is just butchering the truth. They're taking the truth out because it doesn't fit the paradigm of the agenda or the BS that they're trying to pass over. And I've got no respect for that. He's a fantastic and honest man. He's given over 10 years of his life to this research field to help people like me and Short Round grow knowledge. And, they just completely butcher his honesty. And that's actually how I think we met. He reached out and he sent me that, I don't even know what you would call it. I wouldn't call it this fiction that they wrote based on his truth. I'll put it that way. And me being me, I've got pretty red, and I really wanted to reach out. And anyways, the BFRO, I'll just leave him alone, and me and him became very good friends. This is the place where I'm not going to tell you, oh, well, don't say that because people might think it's strange or it doesn't fit what we know as Bigfoot. I mean, be honest. I don't care if you say it flew out on a kite. If it flew out on a kite, so be it. Tell me.
I mean, all those little nuggets of wisdom to me are little pieces or they're dots that we have to connect.
Absolutely.
No matter how weird it is, the truth's the truth, whether it's nice or ugly. And sometimes there's a lot of ugly, and people don't want to talk about ugly.
Right. Or the strange, what people consider, what's that stupid word? The woo. What people call the woo, they don't want anything to do with. If you can't explain it as being some sort of Magilla gorilla running around in the woods, then no, you can't talk about it. And that's crap. Like, for instance, Ron Reading, great researcher, abstract thinker. He was telling me, he told all of us his encounter where this Squatch, he wasn't even researching, he was bow hunting up there in West New York. The Squatch approached him, but it paid him no mind. It was, I think, 30 yards away or something, he said, and it lifted up this down tree, and he said it grabbed something from underneath, put the tree back down, walked a few more feet, turned into some sort of a blue orb, and went into a tree. And as crazy, bro, that sounds cray-cray. It sounds insane, but I believe him because he's an honest man, So what can you do with it? Until you start getting enough evidence or enough cases that have that same anomaly, you can't even start to investigate. It's just
right. Well, I thought this was a while back. It seemed like other researchers. I haven't found one of these, but I was curious if other researchers, not just in Utah, but around the country, around the world, if within these structures, if people are finding mylar balloons. And we had several researchers out here, I believe, that had found like blue mylar balloons. And I had wondered, I wonder if there's a connection between those orbs, blue orbs, and something blue and shiny like that, I don't know. I'm just trying to see if
I've heard that thing blue before. I forget the guy's name, like Dr. Squatch or something like that. He talks a lot about like the blue trash items and the balloons and stuff that are left. And so much to the point where I was starting to notice a lot of that stuff in my area. And I don't know if I was just projecting because that would have been in my mind because I looked at so much of it, or they're actually doing something with it. When I looked into the color spectrum, when I came to the conclusion for my own sake, I don't put it out for public consumption because I don't know, but how color reacts to the electromagnetic field. And the colors that happen to be active with this electromagnetic field are the most active, that puts it in flux, because supposedly the electromagnetic field will bend to light. It'll bend to fit light. Blue is one of those primary colors. And the theory that we had was somehow if these things are opening portals, which I don't think they are, I think it's some other stuff doing it, but whatever the case may be. Well, Bigfoot in Germany just threw in the chat that I found blue mylar balloons several times over in my woods, and that's over in the Deutschland.
Wow.
So that's crazy, man. When we go out,
man.
when we go out next week, if I find some blue mylar balloons, I'm quitting. I'm done. Anyways, we're looking at this color spectrum in the electromagnetic field, and the odd feeling that you get when you're around one of these cryptids, that environment that they seem to bring with them, with their presence. And God absolutely know where we could prove nothing one way or another, but it's fascinating nonetheless. Forgot where I was going with that because Bigfoot in Germany kicked the wheels from under me, man.
That's wild, man.
That is wild. And you see, I've began to write down some of these little tactics and strategies that I want to use and put them almost in a battle form, like writing my war plan out, like my Operation Sermon on the Mount, where everybody says that they're just demons. I'll just go in there, listen up to spiritual music, some good old fashioned gospel, Southern, gospel music, take the good book in there and just at the top of my lungs start to preach revelations. I mean, if they're demons, they're going to react to that. And then there was the one where I do the exact opposite and take Slayer and Mastodon and my buddy's big guitar amp and just blast the woods open with heavy metal music. Like wide open, you know what I mean? They think it's a Metallica concert if they pass by.
Yeah, there again, you're dealing with frequencies,
Right.
Especially that kind of music and the impact. I mean, you can look at like, I've got the guy's book and I can't remember his name. He's a little Japanese doctor, Dr. Emoto. Trying to think, he was doing a study on like water and the impact of frequency, like I hate you or I love you.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he actually like played those through a speaker with water on it, right?
That's it. That's the guy.
And they took weird forms like geometrical shapes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how that works, but that was pretty fascinating too, man. The beats that can affect your emotion and your brain waves. Kids were like listening to it for a while, and they get some sort of a sense of euphoria from it. It got real big with the rave scene for a while. Something beats. Anyways, it's a weird white ambient noise on top of these session of beats that supposedly send people in the Trip Out City. I was wanting to take that out there and blast into the woods, see how they reacted. But it's just, things I think about when I think about my last day out there trying to study these things. And Terry Jones said, I want to bring my bass guitar and my amp down there. Always wondered what that low, deep bass frequency would do to them. It'd probably tick them off. Maybe. Oh, they may come out there and start rocking it, man.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be something? They start singing Freebird with you? Dick Richards says, why would Mastodon be playing if it's a Metallica concert, D? Oh, shut up with the particulars, Dick Richards. Crypto PTSD is signing off. Thank you very much for stopping in chat. Another celebrity we have here.
Right.
Crypto PTSD does fantastic work. If you haven't already, go and check out his channel and subscribe and just listen to him, man. He's a great guest, great host. Jared Indio Loco says he may be down for the trip next week. Good, Jared, because if I'm spending the night in those woods, you're coming with me. We're going to kidnap you anyways. You just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
Short round, you want to answer a few questions?
Me?
Yeah, just throw them out to us.
Sure.
I just learned to read not too long ago. I'm not very good at it, so yeah. Come on, guys, give my nephew some questions.
The night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dick Richards. I don't know if I haven't talked about that yet. Sooner Sasquatch and I are going to go to Hanobia to Bigfootville. I've finally been convinced to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finally. Binaural Beats. Who put that up there? Thank you, Cousin Kentucky. And he says, regarding the rave scene and frequency things, binaural beats are a thing that you need to look up. That's exactly what I was talking about. Thanks, Cousin. Anyways.
You're talking about the place where the brother shot the Sasquatch and was gurgling blood and they took him away?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Wait, what?
Hanobia?
A brother shot a Sasquatch and they took him away.
Yeah. The wasn't there a Hanobia incident?
Yeah, yes, sir. Hanobia.
Yeah, where there was it was like two brothers. And I think they had shotguns or something like that, and they hit one of the squatches like 3 times, and they could hear it dying.
Huh. Do you remember the name of the case or how they put it out?
I think it was on Sasquatch Chronicles. And anyway, the other Bigfoot in the tree line walked on out and grabbed it and got rid of the body.
Sounds familiar, bro. Captain LaFleur, Matthew LaFleur was down there, and what was that, the 1800s? They kidnapped those kids, and the Siege of Hanobi.
Yeah. He just said that. Yeah.
I have 8 Canyon in my mind. Anyway, short round. Do it to it. What do we got here?
Questions, Greg. Come on, man.
Oh.
They've not given him any yet. He's waiting.
Other way around. You guys have any questions for me?
There you go. Speak right up. I like that. Commanding. They're lame. They don't have any questions.
Well, I want you to ask Dee, what is the LaFleur story about? I've heard a little bit about that, but wasn't it Civil War, something to do with the Civil War era?
He was I don't know if he participated in the Civil War, but he was a cavalry captain who was half Native American and led his own. I have no idea. Anyways, he was this just tough guy, cavalry captain. The Sasquatch over there, which I think that they are the rock giants or the Janoskwa, had been kidnapping children, and like more than just one a year or something like that. It had become a plague on him. And him being half Native, he had good relations with the Native people of the area. So he got the bravest warriors from the tribe, which I can't remember which one it is. I'm not going to lie or paraphrase. But he got the bravest warriors from that tribe as well as his own cavalrymen and went to the mouth of the mountains or the foot of the mountains where these things had been seen. As soon as they got there, there was the stench of death in the air. And, he looked through his monocle, or what do you call those things? Spyglass, and saw that they had lined all these children's bodies up in front of them, anticipating, I guess, the cavalrymen coming to find them. Yeah, it's a wicked, wicked story, man. And you know, seeing this, Matthew Lafleur, filled with rage, actually rushed in front of his troops and took on what I presume to be the leader of these Janoskwa, Choctaw. How could I forget that? Mississippi Choctaw.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, but
so this took place down in Mississippi?
no. The Mississippi Choctaw are in Oklahoma. It's that part's confusing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that was the tribe. I do believe. Somebody's going to correct me on it if I'm wrong. Hopefully in a polite and kind way. But Matthew Lafleur, you know, filled with rage, rushes towards the foot of this mountain and this tree line, and begins to hack and slash this Janoskwa with his saber. You know, he's firing, slashing away, and the Janoskwa literally just rips his head off. Well, the men seeing this just go completely bananas and launch a full-out, you know, battle on these things and push them back. I forget that there was a younger, I think, lieutenant or maybe a sergeant, but he was the true hero of the battle that actually saw it all the way through.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a fascinating. As a matter of fact, if you look on our Cryptid files, Volume 2, I believe, an outstanding narrator named Lily C. Nation actually did that. It's on here a couple of times on our Cryptid files. Tex, our from his part of the channel, he did a fantastic rendition of it, as well as Lily C. Nation.
I've got to check that out.
It's a class one. Yeah, I don't do it justice.
I think Corey said somebody's asking the question, so
Yeah.
What do we got here? What do we got?
Dick Richards asked when was the last time you saw something in the woods to me. I haven't seen anything, but I've heard stuff. It's not anything like up close or like silhouettes. I just hear stuff with my dad.
Yeah, he hasn't seen anything since that encounter back in May of 2016.
I think they're scared of me.
That's awesome. What about you? What about you, Big Layton?
The last time I've seen anything,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. I still haven't. I just heard stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, I've just heard stuff.
Short round is the man. He's leading those expeditions up there.
Yep.
Last time I saw something, believe it or not, was 2 days ago. I can't tell you what it was, but it stood taller than me, and it was in the hobo jungle. I mean, it could have been a hobo that was taller than me. And I'm going to show you guys. We're going to record something for you tomorrow, which doesn't have anything to do with Sasquatch. It'll be on the non-cryptid weirdness portion of the channel. But
oh, it's crazy.
yeah, this is crazy, and it's something you guys need to hear.
Yep.
Praise him forever 777. Glad to see you in here, brother. Then they go to another neighbor's house, bug their dogs. Then I pray the same thing. Then they stop. What? What did I miss? Is he dealing with these things? That's terrible. His screen name just caught him. WTH is a hobo jungle, because Germany says. All right, I'm moved back to my hometown, and it's the oldest part of town built. Oklahoma, as you know, is the Sooner State. They're called Sooners because during the land run, when the United States government opened up the territory of Oklahoma to people to be inhabited, you could just basically plant your flag, and depending on how much you paid for this ticket, I believe is how it went, that's how much land you had. So they literally fired a pistol, and you started at one point in Arkansas or Texas, and you rushed in Oklahoma, planted your flag, and you had land in the brand new state of Oklahoma. All right. Well, of course, there was people who jumped on the train in the middle of the night, jumped off, hid in the bushes before they fired this pistol. And it wasn't fair. They were Sooners, which was a very, very derogatory term for a while. But anyways, I digress. Where I live now is the oldest part of town, and it's right. The oldest railroad, or the railroad that brought the first settlers into southern Oklahoma, is in my backyard, and it's very, very thick thick and dense with woods all around it. And if you follow it, it'll take you all the way out to the rural section of Carter County, where I live. Anyways, this little portion of land right across from my street that is the opening of the hobo jungle is where they would jump off that train. And up until the point where they actually, stopped for safety reasons, stopped using those tracks. But yeah, I remember being a little kid and my sisters cutting through the hobo jungle to get to, I don't know, a store or one of their friends' house or something because they thought they were tough. And they're actually like, what's the politically correct term? Transients playing cards and getting drunk back there. And I was like, oh man, what's going on? Why are we back here with them? But yeah, in this hobo jungle, which I can see from my front porch, there was something big and black, and it wasn't no fella. So there you go.
Dang, man. That sounds like something out of Andy Griffith, man.
No doubt, right? and the neighbor across the street actually said, because I'm a polite old schooler. I introduced myself and blah, blah, blah. But her and her husband actually said, unprompted by me, they didn't know who I was or what I was, but there was a changeling that lived back there in the hobo jungle, which prompted me to kind of poke my nose around a little bit. But
changeling.
Yeah, both are full-blood Choctaw Native Americans, Choctaw Indians, and they weren't playing around about that kind of stuff. I kind of mentioned, Buster Ned, the last great medicine man of Oklahoma, and how I was basically adopted by that family. His Buster Ned's great nephew is my best friend, best man at my wedding, and all that kind of stuff. Uh-oh. Sorry, there's my Scottish heritage again.
God, man. That sounds like changeling. Kind of sounds like what's out here near Skinwalker.
Yes, sir.
A lot with the native.
Yes, sir. That's what I took it as when she said that. So, kind of tripped me out a little bit, but it also fascinated me enough to go poke my nose around in those woods. So,
man, I had no idea that those kinds of legends were down that way. Because from my understanding is that
yeah, absolutely,
it's kind of like it's like a satanic aspect to the dark side of Navajo.
Well, just like Sasquatch, they have different names and throughout the tribes for these different, actions that the shamans would do, like the skinwalker or a changeling, bad medicine men. But you're right. I do believe that it's all negative. It started off as a good thing during the Spanish conquistadors down there in Florida, I believe, or whatever. They would use the shaman to spy on the Spanish to see where their armaments would be and so on and so forth. So the shaman would wear one of these skins, change into that animal, and go and spy covertly on the Spanish. Well, there was something that happened, and all across the board, I think they became bad. The skinwalkers and changelings, they're nothing good.
No.
And yeah, this was the end of the destination on the Trail of Tears too for a lot of native tribes. So
yeah,
very sad. Not sad enough for us to just clam up. What about you, Short Round? How many Native American tribes can you name? Go.
Me?
You.
Yeah, you. I know I put you on the spot, but you got to name at least one.
For a while.
What is it?
I'm stuck here for a while. I don't.
I'll give you a hint. Our state's named after one.
Utah.
Utes.
Wasn't it the Utes? That's great.
It's not my fault. My school doesn't teach me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a young man. Back in our day, we got to learn all sorts of cool stuff. Now, school's kind of lame, isn't it? I guess I shouldn't say that, but yeah, I have an 11-year-old daughter, and thank God she's a nerd like me and loves history.
Yeah, in your state, man, you're telling me about how I remember saying I went to Shawnee, Oklahoma, back when I was in 7th grade to help my grandfather was a gun dealer, and we went to a gun show there. there were a lot of Native Americans that showed up. I was surprised at how many. I was thinking we must have been right near a reservation or something, or is what I thought. But
living here my entire life, I've only seen two reservations actually.
Oh.
But I was growing up again, like I was just inundated with the history and the culture. And I loved it. Yeah, I couldn't get enough of it. You know, it's and even as a small boy, I just knew this stuff had some sort of validity to it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There were too many of the adults talking about it for it all to be fairy tales, I guess.
Well, man, are you ever going to do another roundtable of missing 411 or?
Yeah, we're going to do a part 2, which you'll be a part of. It's just so vast of a topic, and then I'm never going to talk about it on this channel again. Like, you know what I mean? It's everywhere. You know, how much can you add or theorize to that to the missing 411? You know what I mean? It just gets kind of lame sometimes.
Yeah, I was just
before that happens, I want to cut the cord on it. We got to get Browndorf in here with us too. He's got all the knowledge on this stuff.
I know I was telling you about William Ramsey. He was telling me that like he had conversations with him for a little bit, and but he's wanting to come on sometime if you want him to.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to have Mr. William Ramsey on. That would be an honor.
Even if you don't, I mean, if you didn't even want to do a show on missing 411, this is the occult knowledge the guy has about.
No doubt.
Yes. Crazy.
I mean, he's written how many books? You know what I mean? I've actually been in contact with Angelica Goodson Lord, the author. Now, I know a lot of the old school subscribers will remember Miss Goodson Lord from a while back. She's actually wanting to come on here and be a guest on the show and possibly have a gentlemanly debate or a civil debate, since we're not both gentlemen. I guess that's kind of rude.
That'd be awesome, man.
But yeah, before I talk to Mr. Ramsey, I definitely get a full night's sleep and actually have something to say instead of jumping in the chat. And you know what I mean? I don't want to seem like some okie idiot talking to the man himself.
He's a down to earth dude, man. He's really down to earth.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. He seeing the interviews that I've seen him in before, he seems very, very genuine. You know what I mean? Steve, God, what's the guy's name? There's two of them, and they're all about the Nephilim and the inner earth. And
oh, really?
Steve, Bigfoot in Germany knows exactly who I'm talking about. Help me out, Bigfoot. Steve, God, I'm drawing blanks. And for anybody who listens afterwards, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been going to bed at 8:30 p.m., waking up about 5:36. So that's why I have brain farts. Don't take it easy on me, please.
Yeah, I work third shift, so I should be alive and well right now. But
yeah, I miss third shifts, man. I used to be a night owl up until about a week ago. You know what I'm talking about? He's an author, a Christian gentleman. There's Steve, and then there's his buddy, not Steve Greer. Steve Greer is like a
Quail.
Steve Quail. Thank you.
Okay.
God, I wouldn't have slept tonight if I left this show without mentioning Steve Quail. But he's like Steve Quail. A lot of people agree with him. A lot of people don't. I'm one that doesn't agree with a lot of what he has to say, but I respect the man because just hearing him talk, you can tell that he's not trying to pull a flim flam on anybody. You know what I mean? He's passionate and genuine.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a couple of his books. I want to read that one on Antarctica. You know, that is fascinating as far as like
he did one on the little people that I want to check out.
Oh man.
Oh, you creep me out on those videos.
Oh, with the little people? Yeah, there's one out there with a dwarf. Like a leprechaun walking around.
Runs out of it. It's in the street. It's so creepy.
Well, I mean, according to Steve Quail, like the little people are indeed like the fallen angels. You know,
My dad scared the crap out of me when he
what did he do to you?
Have you? That's interesting you say that, because if you, you know, St. Patty's Day is next week. Have you seen Darby O'Gill and the Little People?
Darby O'Gill and the Little People? Is it like a kids movie?
No.
Well, it's a Disney movie, but it's, and you were,
No, I haven't watched it. Like Robin Hood and Jungle Book and all those.
This is not animated though. This is Sean Connery in it when he's young. And the beginning of it, they show like a legend, and it was about like the something about them being cursed and being demonic. Yeah, but playing it, but Disneyfying it though, as far as like they're, you know, just playing them off like nature spirits and stuff, but nonetheless demonic.
Huh.
Which I was like, whoa, I had no idea. You know.
Yeah. The Scots even talked about the little gray neighbors who had flying machines and would steal people who or kidnap people who went into the woods and keep them for prolonged periods of time. The little gray neighbors with flying machines who take people who go into the woods. What does that sound like? It's crazy, you know, once you start getting into it, but it may have some validity.
That's great. Man, that's, yeah, those would be great aliens, I would imagine. Sounds like it. Or something pretending to be gray aliens.
Right. Exactly. There's a documentary that when I find it, I'll actually leave the link in the description. I'll send to you too, brother. I think you'll really dig it. It's called The Fae, and it's basically tracking the fairy legends or the Fae from the first written accounts of it all the way to present time, and it kind of it's a chronological look at these things and how that really they are the gray aliens of the day that we know. I mean, it's very convincing, and there's pictures all over the internet of the Native Americans, little people, or the little helpers. It's strange once you dig deep into it, and like you said, the leprechauns and stuff, that all has like a basis in reality.
I don't know what would scare me more, seeing a little person or actually finally getting to see Bigfoot. You know?
Well, supposedly these little people can outpower the Bigfoot and the Janoskwa, the dog man. So yeah,
Bigfoot would probably run away though, because
hey, well, if you're there, it's a different story. But outside of you being there, short round, Bigfoot's the boss of the woods. They don't Papa don't take no mess. You know what I mean? And that's why I say people talk about, oh, I'm afraid of the dog man. Like, I'm a little bit more leery of Bigfoot because there's a lot less of the dog man creature out there, and time again, you go from native tribe to native tribe. It's the boss of the woods, the face eaters, the Janoskwa, the rock giants. They're just B.A. Baracus. You know what I mean? They're just tough.
Yeah.
And somehow they can use their environment to their benefit. It's almost like their environment helps them.
Interesting.
Crows flying around, being tattletales. Yeah, it's very interesting. That's why I'm still doing it.
So when I was out in Hawaii, I picked up a book on Hawaiian myths and legends, and also a book on their petroglyphs. They had some stuff on giants, some myths on giants, but they also had a huge mythos around little people, and I forget the name of it, but like building forts, building things over there, like stuff overnight. So it's like you look around the world, you got you get the giants, and then you also have little people everywhere, which is kind of crazy.
It's very crazy. And I mean, like in certain places in Scotland, and I think Wales as well. I know a couple of our UK subscribers can validate this. They actually, the city councilman has to go or send a representative out to these rock formations that were supposedly built by the Fae or the little people and ask their permission to build public works in the areas. I'll actually find that story and I'll put it on the channel. There's this one where they wanted to build a bridge, and all sorts of cataclysms and mishaps would happen, you know, during the course of them building it. And until they appealed to these little people, they could get nowhere.
That's amazing.
Bigfoot in Germany says that's in Iceland.
Iceland. That's okay. Yeah. That's ringing a bell. Okay.
So it's not even the British Isles. I mean, like I said, it's everywhere. It's very, very odd, especially how many thousands of years before Christ there's written document where it talks about fallen angels and these things. Wherever they stopped is where they were. I think in some parts of Europe they call them elementals.
Elemental.
It's where you get the spirits of the spirits of the air, the spirits of the trees, and this, that, and so forth and so on. Because when God opened the gates and he cast them all out, he shut it suddenly, and where they were when they were falling is where they stayed.
Wow, man.
Adam, why?
Which, you take that with a big grain of salt. But yeah, I find it fascinating. They talk about the little gray neighbors, even way back then, kidnapping people. And
gosh, man, that's just it's a whole nother section I haven't really delved that much into, just a little bit. But
it's all interwoven, though, brother. It's crazy. Like, it'll lead you right back into what we're doing. It kind of makes me wonder sometimes. You know what I mean? I do wholeheartedly believe in the physical Sasquatch, the Magilla Gorilla Sasquatch, and then there's that other stuff out there, as Bigfoot in Germany appropriately named the others. But I'll call them the adversary, straight up and down.
It's got to be. It's what other explanation can it be?
I mean, when I see a physical whatever, whether it be one of these dogman creatures or a Bigfoot, and I can see it 60 yards off, I take a picture. But when I go home and put it on the computer, I see 3 or 4 of them there. The one physical one does look like a physical creature, but the other ones have snake eyes and they seem to be mimicking this physical creature. Yeah, that's deception straight off the bat.
Oh, man.
But gentlemen, I'm gonna jump off here. I sincerely appreciate y'all jumping on the AM Subscriber Show with me. It's been an honor, folks. Check back in the next few days, and you'll see the Bdrp Longwalker special, where we will expose one of these pizza places. I'll just leave it at that because it's going to be obvious when you see it, and 90% of you are going to be just as furious as we are. I can guarantee you that.
Just gonna say,
what you got, boss?
I'm the one who found out most of these.
Oh, well, pardon me all over. I'm sorry, man. You're too tough for me, bro. Yeah, that's the future host and lead researcher at the Bdrp, Short Round himself, Layton Shortwalker. That's outstanding.
I can't wait to tell these.
Like a vampire slayer on my hands.
No kidding. That's awesome, though. But folks, we love you all, and God bless you and your families. Get some rest. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, so I know it's late where y'all are. For Mr. Layton Longwalker and Layton Shortwalker, our very own Short Round, we thank you for joining the AM show, and we'll see you on the late show whenever that occurs.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. See y'all later. Thanks for showing up at the last minute, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dee. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Howdy, guys. Layton Longwalker. I just want to take a minute of your time to tell you about a new channel. It's called the Cryptid Files. It's part of the Bdrp, which is the Bigfoot Dogman Research Project. If you like Sasquatch, if you like Dogman, let me tell you, there's a plethora of more mysteries out there to be solved. So swing on by there, hit subscribe, and I think you're going to like what you find. Thanks, guys.
He's a super bad space frog, and he's gonna gobble up and gobble down the human race. There is nothing you can do about it. He's gonna gobble up and gobble down the human race. Oh no. down.